Another episode of Audience First. As always, I have a very special guest with me in the studio in New York City. I have the one and only Chris Thomas. Chris, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you, Dani. It's great to be here.
I love it. I love your energy. We had a session behind the scenes talking about how we're going to prepare for this. And again, your energy is so inviting, and I love that. I love people like that on my show.
I promise not to be jumping on your couches.
No, we could do that. We could also edit that out or Photoshop it out or Premiere Pro it out. But I do want to start with a question that I ask all my guests. I want to know who you are, what do you do, and why the hell do you do it?
Yeah. Well, my name again, it's Chris Thomas. I'm a Chief Revenue Officer here at Algosec. I've been with Algosec for 5.5 years. Joined actually in November 2019. Who I am, I'm an executive. I'm a passionate leader in sales. Been in technology for 35 years. I'm a big family man. Got a great, wonderful wife and 3 great kids, and they take up a lot of time when I'm not working and spending a lot of time with our customers and partners and our employees. And what am I, excited about and passionate about? I think I would say I'm just naturally, sort of an optimistic guy. And I just think that if you're not optimistic about what you're doing, then, it's pretty tough to get out of bed every day. For me, I jump out of bed and get running and hard charging. And I love what we're doing here at Algosec. I love our company, our people, and our customers and partners. And it's just an amazing success story. And frankly, after 20 years and good growth and just a solid financially stable business, we're entering a whole new world that is even more exciting than when the company started. And it's probably the biggest thing that we're doing, which is an announcement of our new platform called Horizon. And this is, I think, game-changing for the industry, game-changing for our customers and partners. And it's sort of reinvigorating me even more as we move forward to make this a reality.
I love the energy. Like I said, this is exactly what I'm talking about. So what excites you most about this launch of Horizon and ACE specifically?
Yeah, well, it's actually pretty simple. I would say that when you look at our company, Algosec, it is unique. I mean, I've been in business, my first gig right here in New York City was Ziff Communications, which was a tech media company and research company. 1990, I started, and now fast forward, went through Internet 1.0. Now we're in the wonderful world of 2.0 and AI and everything else. And I'm more excited, even after 35 years, more excited about what we're up to than ever before. Algosec is a 6th venture for me. So I've done a lot of different companies and led a lot of different teams. Some of which went public, some of which we sold, some of which I failed at. And, but I've never seen a business like Algosec in those 35 years. And let me explain. One, we're far from a startup. This is a company that has been around for 20 years. We've had slow and steady growth. Mm-hmm. We don't take outside money, zero. You can look at our competitors and look at the industry. Many of them have taken huge dollars, hundreds of millions from outside investors to go into the marketplace. We did none of that. We really bootstrapped this company over the years. And we've had nice growth. And I'd say the CAGR for the past 5 years, about 20% new ARR growth over that time. So the company is really unique. So what's exciting about the new launch of Horizon is we have been in business protecting networks in data centers for major league blue chip global enterprises. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's where we play. And we have been doing this for a long time. So we're a trusted advisor. We're very well established. We've got a great brand name, and we take care of our customers and our partners. And as a result of all of that experience of protecting core data center centric networks and dealing with security policy management, we are now embarking on the whole big, beautiful world of cloud. Mm-hmm. Every single customer out of our 2,000 or so customers we've got, we are helping them make the transition and protecting their cloud networks. So for 20 years, we've been protecting core corporate networks in the data center, traditional sort of branded firewalling there. Yep. Now we take all that expertise over those years and we're now applying it to the new generation of networks, cloud-based networks, next-gen networks, security groups, all kinds of different security devices, native firewalling, SD-WAN, SASE, all this new technology that is play in the cloud world. So we deserve the right to actually go into our customers and actually help them transition and protect their networks and their application flows and their policy in the world of cloud. Horizon is the platform that brings both of those worlds together. The core data center-centric world of traditional networks, and applying that into now the world of cloud environments and multi-cloud environments. Horizon enables that secure application connectivity anywhere in a hybrid world. And it's an important point, and I'll talk a little bit more about what I mean by the application side of it, but that's why it's exciting, and that's why I think AlgoSec is uniquely positioned to really be the leader here, as we are the leader in the core network world.
Looking back at your customers and also just the space in general, practitioners and organizations, what do you think are some of the biggest financial risks associated with poor cloud security?
Well, let me say this. The number one thing that if you think about two words, digital transformation, you probably hear that all the time, right? I mean, every single article you want to read, every customer I go to, every CISO I talk to, it's like, man, our whole C-suite is moving to digital transformation. And I like to hold up this little prop here. Everything is about the application. And if you just look at this phone, I mean, my whole world runs on this. Right. It's personal and business come together. I've got all of access to all of my orders here. I've got access to my CRM tools. I've got access to quoting tools, but I also do banking. I also book airlines. I also take care of my healthcare. I do everything from this phone. I have a laptop. I do the same thing. So the point is that now today, most businesses are actually going through this massive digital transformation. They're all tech enabled. So to give you an example, if I was just to take the banking industry, which is our number one vertical, we've got a lot of banking customers around the world, you know, the way that they're operating to drive new revenue is through innovation around the applications that their customers use, their employees use. And so that is what helps them drive revenue. It's what helps them get market share. It's what makes them competitive. So if you just think about a bank creating a new application, it's got to be flawless. It's got to work well. It's got to be very, very secure. The thing about the applications, though, is when you look at what happens behind the scenes, for the customer, you just click here and you want to deposit a check. It happens in milliseconds. It's very simple, very easy, very straightforward. On the back end of that, you've got a lot of different smaller applications and microservices operating, and the flow of the application and all the different places the application has to go. Maybe it originates in AWS, then it flows and hits a database in a data center somewhere, comes back out, hits another database in GCP. Maybe it flows over into Azure. The flows are very complex. All of the different devices that are filtering the traffic are complicated, but there's policies that exist on all those devices to allow it all to connect. AlgoSec is at the center of understanding all the risks there, making sure we're managing risks for compliance needs and risk management, but also, and equally as important, is to ensure business continuity and that there's no downtime for those applications. If you have bad policy or misconfigurations and it blocks the flow of the application, you as a bank may lose a bunch of customers opening new accounts. So it's not just about the security side of things. That is critically important and we work well there. It's also about speed, agility, and getting your applications to market rapidly so that you can drive your business forward. What AlgoSec is actually doing, we got a bunch of tech guys that love it because it's making their lives easier in managing, policy and doing change requests and everything else. But most importantly for the business, and if you're a CEO, CFO, or you're head of sales or whatever, is you're ensured that we can help you speed the delivery of the application more rapidly and have the application owners and the security teams come together and actually be able to work together as a team that moves the business forward. And that's what we're all about.
I love that. So can you take me through kind of what are kind of the time and cost savings we're looking at with implementing ACE?
Yeah, well, let me give you an example then. Okay. The best way to answer it is, and I won't name the customer, but we have a customer that's in the banking business in Europe. And what they were dealing with, and what this company does is basically they're the IT service provider for about 1,000 banks. Okay, so they cover 1,000 banks and they're pretty much mid-market banks. So across all of those banks, they're also going through digital transformation. This company is navigating through all of that. One of the biggest challenges they had was when their banking customers were going to push new applications into the market for their customers and partners, to get a change request pushed through so that that application could be reviewed and make sure security is there and to actually allow that to be put into production, it would take them up to 3 or 4 weeks to pull that off. That is a huge amount of time when you're talking about new applications that drive revenue. That's a big problem for the C-suite in all these banks.
Right.
So with AlgoSec, we were able to actually use our platform to help them with the automation process to move and provision connectivity and delivery for those applications. We took it from 4 weeks down to about 3 days, and now we're getting it down to about 48, and the ultimate goal of 48 hours, the ultimate goal is 24 hours. So this is two things. One, it's a gigantic cost savings just in terms of time reduction and the amount of time it takes for them to evaluate change requests and get them through. So we take a manual process and we automate it. And I think the bigger thing is that it's really about enabling them to generate revenue more rapidly.
Is that how CFOs should think of security as an investment versus an expense?
100%.
Can you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, so it used to be, and maybe it still is, but the security teams were the enemy to the application teams. So that's always a problem because the app owners, their demand is to go out and get the application deployed as rapidly as possible. That's what they're being driven to do. So the business units are really focused on achieving their revenue targets, market share goals, and so on.
Yeah.
And they have to service their customers, and it's all driven through the application. So they're innovating rapidly. Security then gets in and sort of slows the whole thing down.
Yeah.
And so security traditionally has not been thought of as a true partner to the business side, much more the opposite of that. So, but I think that what we find is with our customers, when they fully deploy AlgoSec, we're able to bring the application owners and the security teams closer together so they work as a strategic team. Because you want to get speed and agility for the business, but you don't want to be vulnerable on the security side. So you need to make sure that both of those are operating at the same pace, because if you make a mistake on the security side, then that has a major impact, negative impact on the business as well.
Correct.
So you want to have the security actually become a strategic partner that enables the business side to move quicker to get their applications deployed, but do it in a secure fashion. So you don't end up on the cover of the Wall Street Journal one day that you've been hacked.
How do you, in the product itself, and I imagine maybe there's an element of services component, how do you get those two teams to collaborate successfully? Because I imagine there could be potential silos. Yeah,
for sure. So the platform, if you think about like the continuous delivery and continuous integration, and if you have the application owner that can log into AlgoSec and do sort of a traffic simulation and take a look if there's any risks being implemented or introduced through this application, they can pretty much be able to get a really firm understanding of whether there's a security problem or not before they even make a request to the security side. So this is almost a self-service type model for the application owners to actually be able to get involved in the security review side of the house. The other thing is that app owners don't really speak in subnets and IPs and ports, and they don't understand the language of a security person. So that's always been an issue. I like to think of AlgoSec as more of the Rosetta Stone to sort of take regular business terms in plain English and be able to convert that into rule sets that allow applications to connect. So by bringing these two worlds together onto the platform to make that happen, it becomes something that really speeds things up, and we're breaking down barriers between these two groups.
I love it. I want to go back to time and cost. What is the cost of inaction, of not using AlgoSec or not thinking about their security posture in this approach?
Yeah. So again, I'll give you another example. Financial services company based in Orange County, a big player. What they're trying to do is today they have about 10 IT people whose sole job it is running off of spreadsheets to do reviews of change requests that come in. They probably handle 500 change requests per month. So it's a big deal. And these guys sit there and they go through all of this and they try to understand if there's potential risk and improve things and so on. So those people are doing really rudimentary sort of administrative style work when they could be redeployed elsewhere. And they could be deployed on strategic projects that actually help advance their business. So, there's a big problem there because they're wasting great talent on manual processes. So now introducing AlgoSec, they're able to speed up those change requests, do much more of those in an automated fashion, free those resources up to be deployed on more strategic projects for this financial services company. So, I think the problem with inaction is you're not able to leverage your great resources for more strategic things, number one. And number two is inaction or business as usual or status quo, you really end up basically doing all the things I said before, which is you've got weeks and weeks and weeks to go before applications are approved. You've got a whole bunch of potential misconfiguration issues that create more risk. So business as usual, status quo is not an option. They really need to think bigger, and they need to think about how to speed this up.
Yeah.
And, they got to look at platforms like AlgoSec. And mainly for us, the uniqueness is that when you look at an application, it runs across all these different environments. So, it's not just the data center anymore. It is the data center plus the cloud world, its campus, its branch. You put all of that infrastructure together and you look at the flow of the application, you really need to cover it all. So we are hybrid. We cover that whole world, and we're application centric. And we're actually looking at evaluating the application based on the flow of that application. And that's a really critical piece. And AlgoSec's very, very good at this part. Very good.
How does ACE kind of support compliance initiatives and avoid costly regulatory fines?
Yeah, so our two big use cases is risk management and intelligent automation.
Okay.
So on the risk management side, it's all about visibility and it's all about understanding and the criticality of certain particular risks that you're introducing into your environment. So one of the big things that we do is we try to stack rank or score particular problems. So it makes it easier for a team of people to evaluate what they're going to focus on. So this is a very big deal. ACE, which is our platform that actually enables this in cloud environments, ACE is a part of a suite within the whole Horizon platform of AlgoSec. So the focus there is on some very unique things. We're looking at what the actual application definition is, metadata, ownership, users. We're doing discovery of those applications. A lot of our businesses don't really even know what they have. So we can easily, through our AI capabilities, discover those applications. Then we're looking at the policies that allow it all to connect, and we understand the risk associated with those policies. We provide you a remediation path. So, and then we ensure that there's guardrails there and that there's all kinds of different ways to ensure that you can pass audits, that you're compliant with PCI, NIST, HIPAA, and all the different regulations out there. So that's a big part of the platform. The other side of it is around the automation I talked about, and that is that our customers are trying to get these applications delivered quickly, so they need to be able to handle change requests, high volumes of those, and be able to move those through, almost getting very sophisticated from some level of manual plus automation and all the way up to zero touch, where they just do a query, a simulation, traffic simulation, and they can get an idea of, hey, everything's green, let it go, and nobody has to touch it or make any decisions. That speeds everything up. So when you have the combination of the risk management and compliance piece with the intelligent automation, those two big giant use cases, it's a home run.
Now, I do want to understand who's typically involved in making the decision to use ACE. I mean, we talk about the CFO in this case.
Yeah.
making financial decisions and signing off, but who else is kind of involved in the process?
The buyer personas are extensive. I mean, it's like, you have the C-suite that's actually signing off on this. They're the ones that's setting the pace around digital transformation. You have, directors of security, network operations. Then you have the cloud security teams. You might have DevSecOps in there. So it's pretty spread out in terms of the number of people that are actually taking a look at the platform. And then you have the users, the people that are actually going to be logging in and using the platform every single day. So you got a lot of different, buyer personas that are looking at this. And for us, we need to cover it all. We need to have high-level sort of strategic discussions up top. We need to understand where our customers are actually trying to go. We need to be trusted advisors and direct them and give them, guidance on how to make things work. The world of cloud drives security teams crazy because you have business units that are moving really fast,
Right.
and it's like the wild, wild west. And then you have this centralization going on where, the CIOs are trying to not hinder the business, but be a partner to the business.
Right.
But they also need to make sure that they've got security in place and they're compliant. And
Right.
so these are the types of things that we're pulling off in the platform. So in terms of who's looking at, like, hey, do we need ACE and what can ACE do for us? It's, C-suite on down into the worker bees that are, actually responsible for making things happen.
I had a conversation with a CISO about 2 years ago, who's very business focused.
Yeah.
That being said, he told me something, or he asked me something very, very interesting. He said, "Why aren't more salespeople, the people seemingly closest to business acumen, why aren't they teaching me how to make the business case for the investment?" So if you could, because he, some CISOs, some practitioners have a hard time communicating the business case. So for those listening in who might have a hard time making the business case for something like ACE or similar, hopefully just ACE,
Right.
what is some advice you could give them to solidify that business case to their stakeholders?
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting question. I think, ROI selling is really important today. So number one.
Yeah.
So our sales force and our partner community, things have changed quite a bit. I like to say that, I don't know at what point, but maybe a few years ago, it almost became, the year of the CFO, where the scrutiny on the spend for their businesses was significant. We felt it. It used to be where, hey, you could get $1 million deal done with 2 signatures. Now you actually need, 5 signatures, 6 signatures. Used to be maybe the VP could sign off. Now it's got to go to the CIO. So, and the CFO. So there's definitely an increased scrutiny on spend, increased scrutiny on justifying the spend, and that's where the ROI comes in. And so if I had some advice to give on this, I think the first thing that's really critical, okay, and this is where the C-suite and VPs and everything else is, it's incumbent to understand you're going through digital transformation, fine. But what is it exactly that you're trying to achieve?
Right.
Are you trying to, gain more customers? Are you trying to come up with a new solution that's going to be more competitive? Are you trying to modernize your whole business so that you can do more with less? Automation's a big thing. AI is a big thing. So for us, we have to understand that strategic direction and focus of our customers.
Right.
First and foremost, that gives you context.
Yeah.
Now you're like, okay, I understand. They're going through digital transformation. There's 2 big things they want to be able to pull off. They want to be able to modernize their business and have more applications, for better customer experience. They want to speed up, the delivery of their services, their products. They want to drive more revenue more quickly, and they want to reduce costs. So these are like core things. So when you're going through this effort and you understand their strategic moves, now you can start talking to them about, well, how are they getting it done? And where are the big blockers for being able to achieve those goals? Oftentimes, it is speed and agility, 1. 2, there is security risk where they don't want to be, run afoul in compliance situations.
Right.
They don't want to leave themselves vulnerable where they can be hacked, and, that's reputational risk and everything else. So when you start thinking about the strategic side, then you blend in and understand where the problems are, and a lot of them are speed and security related. Then you now understand, okay, well, how are you getting it done today? Oh, well, I have 10 people that are actually sitting here in their machines doing a manual process. And it takes weeks for us to get changes through, and which slows down the delivery of applications, which prevents us from unlocking our revenue potential. So that right there, if you understand what that means, so if it takes them 4 weeks to process a change, and you have 500 changes per month, now you add all of that up, then you're talking about years of delays in actually getting their applications done. That's one. Two, so you've got to figure that out for them, and you got to help them understand that, the slower this is, the more impact it has on their revenue.
Yeah.
But the other thing too is that speed, having this manual process costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
So they pay these, in the example I gave, 10 people, I mean, they're paying a lot of money each year for those folks to basically do administrative work. So we can actually reduce the time, a lot of cost savings associated with how they're processing changes.
And is that kind of the story, the narrative that your customers are also telling the board? Like, is there a different board discussion? How does that help them?
I think, look, cost savings and profitability always goes to the board.
Yeah.
So, we're dealing with, cost savings and how they're actually, managing their security. But I think the other thing, again, that goes into the board is, how are we doing on migrating to the cloud? How long is it taking us? When are we going to get these new solutions in the marketplace so that we can achieve our goals? Those are big things. Now, you don't normally think of a company that's doing security as a company that's mission critical to drive business value. But that's why we have these discussions about their digital transformation, their applications, and that's what's core to their whole company. And we as AlgoSec, we're mission critical in helping them speed that up.
What do you think are some lessons just in looking at customer stories and the launch, and how you help even the broader community? What lessons can other finance leaders learn from these stories?
Look, the number one thing, if you look on the financial side, is to manage the business to achieve the revenue goals, to achieve the profitability goals.
Yep.
And you're normally the ones that are, going maybe on Wall Street doing earnings reports and things like that. But again, if I was just to go back on the financial side of it, the key here is you as executive in the business, you're in the boardroom, and you need to make sure that you're secure and you're compliant. So getting audited and failing an audit is reputational risk.
Yep.
There's fines. A lot of costly things can go on with being out of compliance. So automatically, you need to be able to have that assuredness that you're in good shape. AlgoSec provides that. That's a big part of it. But again, the other side to this isn't just about the compliance side. The other side is making sure that the security piece doesn't slow the business down.
Right.
And I can't say it enough, but that's one thing that maybe as you get a little bit lower in organizations, they're just thinking about, hey, how do I assess risk? How do I make sure I can get my compliance reports done? How can I make sure that when the auditors come in, I'm ready to go? Yeah. That's important. But those folks don't necessarily think about, hey, if it's taking us weeks and weeks for just one single application, and we've got hundreds and thousands of them to keep up to date, then that actually has an impact on the business from market share, competitiveness, revenue, customer success, and so on. That's another aspect that is very, very big as just being compliant, if not bigger.
Is there anything else you think that we should touch on that I didn't ask you so far?
Yeah.
That you think that has to be said to the audience?
Yeah. Well, how much is it?
How much is it?
Look, we've got a good return on investment model where we return a lot of value back to the customer. What I would say is that if it's one thing I would wrap up on, and I want to hit on this again.
Yes.
The whole world of hybrid is an important piece. Now, when you look out on the marketplace today, you see a lot of companies that have been doing, sort of security devices in corporate data centers, and that's where they got their start. And now they're trying to, those old school players, and you can even look at it, Cisco, Palo Alto, Checkpoint, these guys, and they're now trying to transition into that cloud world. Okay. So this is a really big deal in terms of being able to, provide a security capability across traditional networks and into the cloud environments. And AlgoSec is really good at this. And the reason is because we do have that pedigree of working in the corporate network and all of the ability to understand application flows, to understand the association between the application and policy, and be able to assess risk there and help with the automation. We've been doing it for a long time. That same need for visibility, the same need for automation, the same compliance needs don't go away as you move to cloud. They only multiply by a factor of 10 at least. So more and more workloads being done in the cloud. So being able to actually bring that same level of visibility, same level of automation we've been doing for 20 years and apply it to the new technology in the cloud environment, and then have a single platform and a single pane of glass to manage it all is really gold. I mean, it doesn't really exist. You can really look at cloud players like Wiz or Orca or Aqua. They're pure cloud.
Yeah.
But when they want to actually, now their customers are running in both those worlds, AlgoSec actually is both. So we work across the hybrid world, and it's all about the secure application connectivity anywhere in a hybrid world. And that's our whole core platform. And that's the biggest thing that anybody should remember about what we're doing. And really just go to algosec.com, check in, and we'd love to meet with you and talk to you more about what we can do.
Amazing. Well, I love this conversation. It's super compelling. I wish we had more time to dig in, but I do want to get to one of my favorite segments, which is the hot seat. It's a new segment that I'm running, and it's quick fire of questions. So whatever comes to mind, spew it out. You ready?
Okay.
What's your product's dirty little secret? Something buyers never ask but should know.
We have no dirty secrets, none. Everything's hunky-dory, all above board. No, I will say this. One of the things that we recommend in order to get value as quick as possible, and we like to try to deliver value in 2 to 4 weeks right out of the gate, deploy AlgoSec out of the box. It works. You might have to change your own processes to get full leverage of the platform, but don't try to customize and conform the AlgoSec platform to meet some sort of process that is legacy or old. Stick with the out-of-box deployment. You will speed the value delivery very quickly. So the dirty little secret is whenever customers buy the platform and then they try to customize it, or maybe they want to apply an old process to the platform, it usually ends up slowing them down. So we like to tell you, out of the box is the best way to go. That's the best practice.
Amazing. Tell us about a challenge that shaped how AlgoSec does business.
Well, let's see. I will say in 35 years, and in the past, let's say 20, the business I've been involved in started off in one place and built up their strength, which is a positive. But then they have to shift and move to another place. So for instance, we started off in the on-prem world and now we're advancing to cloud. All the businesses that I've actually had personal experience with, those are the hardest things to do. It's a huge challenge because it's new technology. It's a new way to deliver software. It's a whole bunch of new different people you need to talk to that want to evaluate your technology. And it's really two worlds that you're bringing together. So I'd say that, while on the one hand, this is the biggest announcement and shift that we've made with our Horizon platform and a hybrid world, it also introduces challenges for the company and how we operate, because we now are bringing in a whole new innovative technology into our business, and now blending it with the legacy business. And that's a really hard thing to do. So far, so good. It's actually working very, very well. We've got a bunch of customers that are experiencing great value from the delivery of our Horizon platform, and they really have bought into this hybrid world, and we're executing very well on it. I think that it's very exciting in the future with our roadmap and the innovation we're bringing in. It will continue to be focused on that application, which is critical. But we're going to be having things that are brought into the application that gives you a dynamic threat, mapping of applications, so you can really understand visually what the application is talking to. So there's more and more innovation we're going to bring. It's challenging to make the transition, but so far so good.
What's one lesson you learned the hard way that others could learn from?
Oh boy. Well, I'll say this. Be prepared to make a lot of mistakes. We make decisions. We put thoughtful thinking. It's one of our core values is thoughtful decision making. So we don't make decisions just by, winging it. We do a lot of data analytics. We get a lot of input. But then once we make the decision to move, we go all in. And so I think the biggest thing that I would say is that, and sometimes over the years, we make a mistake. But the key part is to have a culture that understands the mistake, faces up to it, and then is able to adjust and move forward. So I think we're really good at that. We're really good at setting plans, moving forward. If it's not the right thing, then we're able to adjust very quickly on the fly. And so it doesn't, kind of repeat itself.
What makes AlgoSec different from the competition?
Oh, a bunch of things. So let me cover this in a couple of different ways, okay? There's really, I would say, probably three things. One is the technology and the innovation and the experience itself. Number two is the culture of AlgoSec. It is truly unique. And believe me, it's 35 years, 6 ventures. And the third thing is the capital structure. So in our world, and look, I don't know if you've read the news lately, but one of our competitors, Skybox, just all of a sudden, surprisingly, out of business, completely gone.
We talked about that.
Okay, Skybox's been around since 2002, and look, you can go and Google and everything else. I'll just give you my 2 cents, and this is a company we competed with fiercely. Okay, and they've raised, I don't know, I think depending upon what report you believe, probably $330 million. We have no outside investment at all. We've bootstrapped this. We operate our company based on the revenue that we generate, and we are profitable.
Wow.
We've got good growth, and we're profitable. We have money in the bank. We're well capitalized, 550 employees, and we're expanding. Okay. So, when you look at these three things, the technology and the platform, application-centric, hybrid world, nobody does that better than us. None of our competitors are there, number one. Number two is our culture. We live and die by our values. We created those values from day one. We're completely customer-centric, partner-centric. We do whatever it takes to ensure the success of our customers. We will invest in them, even if they haven't paid for the best contract and service and support, and they're having a hard time. We'll do whatever it takes to turn it around. This is part of our culture, part of our DNA. It's like a family, and our customers are part of that family. It's strategic for us. So we bend over backwards to make it happen, and that's our reputation. The last thing is we're incredibly stable financially. We always have been. There's no shenanigans here. We run a very tight ship. We put money in the bank every year, and we operate and reinvest that money into the business. So if you want to open our books, we're happy to do it. No surprises here. But to think of a Skybox that all of a sudden is like a darling in this business, raises a bunch of money. A lot of the raise they did was in recent times, not back in 2000, 2002, but maybe 150 million going back to maybe 2018, 2019. You really got to wonder, with a successful company and a big install base and that kind of capital behind them, how is it that all of a sudden they wake up one day and they just went away?
Yeah.
Their customers were shocked. Their employees were shocked. They cut a deal with Tufin that's sort of unusual. That's another competitor, but it just shows that you as a customer, it is risky. For you. So you got to do your due diligence. You've really got to know who you're playing with. And right now, those customers are scrambling.
Yeah.
They got compliance issues they're dealing with. And now, the technology that they were depending upon is no longer there. And so we're trying to take care of them and give them an alternative. But I mention this because You want to talk about differentiation. It's the technology, it's the way we operate and how we focus on our customers, and it's also the stability of the company and our values. These are really important things.
Right.
So we compete and differentiate on many levels, and those are three big ones.
What's the biggest myth about your products category?
The biggest myth would, so here's the way I would describe that. A lot of customers in the traditional sense would think of maybe AlgoSec and even our category as, oh yeah, those are the firewall management guys. And I would just say that the way I think of it is that we're way, way beyond firewall management. We're a trusted partner that has great innovative technology that helps our customers remain compliant. We help them automate so that they can achieve their digital transformation business goals. Okay. And that whole thing is much bigger than firewall management.
Right.
And I think of firewall management as just a feature.
Yeah.
It's something we have on our platform, and yeah, we manage firewalls. But what we really do is help you drive your business forward by enabling you to easily and quickly provision connectivity for your revenue applications. This is key, very big. Firewall management's just a feature under the hood that sort of makes it happen. That is a commodity right now. We're way beyond that.
Describe your product in 3 words.
Oh gosh, I can't do 3 words.
4 is
All
fine.
right. Secure application connectivity anywhere.
Man, you guys are good. I'm testing all of you across the board.
I hope everybody's saying the same thing. By the way, I'm looking at my friend right over there in the corner, everybody, who actually is a hell of a lot more articulate about all this stuff than I am. That's Colin Wickard, our field CTO.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He's, we just
You interviewed.
He got it in 2 words.
Oh, you did?
He got it in 2
What
words.
were they?
What was it? Do you remember?
Application automation. See, he's much better. I told you.
If your product were a superhero, if AlgoSec were a superhero,
What one would it be?
what one would it be?
Superman.
Superman, why?
Yeah, because we have superpowers.
Amazing. I love it. All right, Chris, what's the future of security 2025 and beyond?
Oh, man. Well, for me, I mean, look, we talked a lot about the applications, but look, I think security, and my sort of layman's point of view on all of this is, it's security kind of everywhere. Think of security not as something that is like, oh my gosh, it's got to be secure. I don't feel like dealing with it. But it's actually embedded now in everything that our customers do and that just about anybody does. So I see security continuing to be easier to deploy, easier to manage. I see it as something that is absolutely critical to the success of a business. But the key also is that I think the automation will improve. I think that the tool sets and the platforms that are available today will be easier to deploy, easier to manage. And there'll be a continued march towards enabling the security side just to be part of the business. So I'll just end with this. I mean, the example I gave about an application owner being able to do kind of risk check as a service without involving anybody, without knowing anything about networking and IP and subnets. Imagine that. Imagine that's game changing in a lot of ways, where you can have the application owners be able to actually do their own security review through a platform. And imagine the impact of the business. It's simple, it's easy, and it's speed. So I think that continues to move on, and I think it gets more and more embedded just in the core technology that we're using. And we'll see how AI plays out, but certainly security will be a big part of the whole AI world.
100%.
So, we're using AI today. We are using and leveraging AI in the innovation that we're bringing. The application discovery that I talked about, that's our AI innovation that we're bringing into the platform. We're just in a matter of minutes, we can discover all of your applications and get a good understanding of all the metadata associated with them, and then start evaluating policy that is connected to those apps. So it's already happening and it's already here, but I think it will accelerate as we move forward.
Wonderful. Well, we are headed towards the end of the session. I want to know if there's anything else you want to impart on the audience today.
Well, look, I think when I look at innovation, and we all are going through it, and the innovation is happening quicker and quicker. I mean, I think of AI, and I use it all the time. I've got it on my phone. I actually, I'm a subscriber. I have the paid version
Yep.
of Chat GPT, and I'm leveraging it quite a bit. But again, if I think about this innovation, the security side of things is keeping pace with the business. And I would just say that I think that's a pretty impressive thing. It wasn't always that way. And I think that that's something that is only going to improve as we keep moving forward. So don't think of security as like, oh my gosh, that evil thing over here that I just need to do to be compliant. It's much more of a business value proposition nowadays. And I think it will only get better. And AlgoSec will be a big player in this.
Great. Well, I wish you all the best of luck with this launch and with getting new clients in for ACE. You are always welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
I'll be back in New York very soon, so maybe we can jam again.
Excellent. Well, you've been awesome, and it's so good to meet you. And I enjoyed the first interaction. I looked at some of your other podcasts, and it's really cool. So I'd welcome the opportunity to come back and chat. So thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it very much. And I love Manhattan, my hometown. I love it. So welcome, and have a safe flight home to wonderful LA.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. This has been another episode of Audience First. We are out.